I'd like to welcome you all to our event this evening. My name is Neil Vandry. I'm your officiator here at the Church of Perpetual Life. I'm so glad you made it tonight. We have an exciting evening in store, and we're going to get right into it. So let me give you an introduction to our main speakers this evening, who you've come to listen to. Our speakers are the founders and directors of People Unlimited. They've spoken and written on radical life extension and physical immortality for over 4 decades to audiences in 26 countries around the world, and you'll really appreciate their passion and presence. They have been pioneering the conversation on unlimited living and organic immortality since 1972. They are the authors of Living Without Death, The Experience of Physical Immortality. They've appeared on numerous TV shows, both here in this country and abroad. They've hosted their own weekly radio program, The Immortality Tonight Show, and are the publishers of Living Unlimited magazine. Bernie and Jim have constantly challenged death-oriented beliefs and practices and have coached thousands of people to live healthier, fuller, more vibrant lives. But they've also recognized that to live without limitations, people need a community, a human environment that supports this endeavor. I had the pleasure and honor of speaking at their venue in Scottsdale, Arizona a couple of months ago, and these people are so passionate and so warm and embracing. It was a wonderful experience. And so I'd like to welcome here to the Church of Perpetual Life, Jim Strole and Bernadeane. Come on up.
I guess, Bernie, you're going to just stand up here with me?
No. No, I'm not standing up here now. Later, but it's fun to look at all of you and see who's here to hear us. I hope you enjoy us a lot tonight. We're here to enjoy you, so. Okay, Jim.
Yeah. Okay, so I got to meet a few of you. I wanted to meet all of you, and we will as we go along for the night. I guess we're going to eat together and enjoy each other. Well, I'm very excited to be here, to say the least. I've been speaking on radical life extension and physical mortality, like Neil said, for over 45 years, and I'm more excited all the time. There's nothing better. There's nothing better than being alive. I want to begin by saying that. And there's nothing better than finding people who want to be alive. I'm a very animated person. I'm very intense. I'm very alive. I think that's one of the prerequisites for living, is be really alive. And but I want to share with you some important things. Like Neil said, thank you, Neil, for having us here, and Bill Falloon for inviting us here. It's a real honor to be here speaking to all of you. Like Neil said, we're from Scottsdale, Arizona. How many have been in Scottsdale? Okay. It's about as hot as here, but just dry. Dry heat. So someone was telling me earlier, said, well, they like Florida better because it's moist, and I'm used to the dry heat, though. I come here and all I do is like I can't get dry. I'm just like walking around and my clothes wet all the time. But I guess you get used to it like everything else. So, but I actually love Florida. We visited several times. We spoke here a couple of times too. So, we're really about creating community. We're not scientists. We have a lot of information that scientists have shared with us, and I'm so thrilled today to have so many great scientists and entrepreneurs in the radical life extension field come forth, and so many great things are being done now in radical life extension. We're in a new era here. We're in a new era, and there's nothing better. For some people, that's totally hard to grasp, but I'm excited about getting out and spreading this news in the world, this great news about a new life. I want to tell you first a little bit about me personally, and Bernadeane some, and she'll share more about herself. But when I was 10 years old, I asked my mother, I said, why do we have to die to go to heaven? Why can't we have heaven here on earth? And she looked at me and said, whoa. She said, that's a really good thought, but I don't know the answer to that. Why don't you pursue that? My mother was a seeker herself, a very passionate person, very progressive, always looking for something new in her life, something that she could actually get inspiration from and find more life in. And so I took her advice on that, encouragement, and all through my life, I looked for the answers to that. Why do we have to die? Why can't, and at that time, I was 10 years old. I didn't know what that really meant. All I knew is that my grandmother had died about a year before, and it wasn't pretty. I loved her, and I didn't want her passing away. I wanted to be able to touch her, and she was very comforting to me in times when you're growing up in a strange world sometimes. But I always remember the story, too, in that of a young girl who one night she was in her bedroom, and all of a sudden a huge storm came and lightning hit, and everything was, the house was shaking, and she screamed out for her mother, and her mother came into her room and took her in her arms and held her, and she said, "It's okay, honey. Everything's going to be okay. God will take care of you." And she said, "I know, Mom, but right now I need some skin." And I think I've never forgotten that story. There's nothing better than the human touch. There's nothing more vital to have people around you that really care about you. And this is what Bernie and I are about. We're about creating community. We're about finding people in this world who want to live an unlimited life, who not only value themselves but value one another. And so we searched all over the world. We started, I was 22. Like Neil said, we traveled 26 different countries. We were on most every major TV show in the world, radio show. You can recognize my hairdo there with Larry King, a little buffonti, but what can I say, you know? But we're anti-death activists. We wrote a book, Living Without Death. This is a picture of us in Israel. We took that picture in front of a money exchange store, actually. We thought it would be a good picture to show change, because we're about change. We have to be willing to change. The human being has a tendency to be very habitual. I was talking to Neil about this on the way over here to the church here today. And by the way, this is a great place. I think this is a fantastic place to be able to meet and talk about all the unlimited potential of this new life that we're all moving to bring forth. But we were talking, and we were talking about, well, why is it that a lot of times people will get involved or come into events here or in Scottsdale? They'll say, wow, how tremendous that is, how tremendous they feel about it, but then many times we'll never see them again. And we were talking about it, and I said, hey, what I've experienced is people are so habitual that even if the habit is killing them, and many times they're in an environment that's not really conducive to their lives, it's still a habit that they're stuck in. And to get out of that habit, there has to be something huge to change that paradigm, some kind of change. Sometimes people have an illness that comes up, maybe a heart attack. Maybe they get something traumatic happens in their life, and that perpetuates change. But for the most part, we as human beings get very stuck in our patterns. We get stuck in our belief systems, and it's hard for us to let go of those belief systems to really embrace new thoughts and new ideas and to go for something more vast in our lives. So this is a presentation that I actually gave at the Brink Foundation last couple weeks ago. We were at a fantastic event in Palm Springs, California. It was all about futurists. About 43 different futurist speakers, conversationalists were there. I was one of them, Bernadeane, and we spoke on radical life extension there. But it was fantastic to see all these people who were talking about the future and such an excitement. And even though many of them were coming from different places, different ideas, we all shared this same common theme, the same passion for life. And it was fantastic to experience, because the feeling between one another and the camaraderie, and you could discuss anything you wanted to without getting sneers or out getting funny faces that sometimes people give you when you're talking about the future in some way. So at People Unlimited, though, we are a social laboratory of living. That means we've been doing this for 45 years. Bernie and I started People Unlimited in 1996. We gather there to celebrate our immortality and to spur one another unto unlimited life. We created this community because we found out that there was a situation that was happening that we could tour the country or tour the world, meet people, talk about physical immortality and radical life extension, get people excited. But then when we went back to that location again, where they were, we found out that they were still back in that same old pattern, that same old way of life. They didn't step out of that paradigm. What we're about is trying to create environments, and we already are creating environments, that's conducive to people walking out of the death paradigm. The programming of death that's in the body is so deep. And that's what Bernie and I are involved in doing, changing that programming, changing those patterns. It's one thing to think about a new idea of living forever. Then it's another thing to actually get engaged, to own it, to get engaged on a daily basis, moving to incorporate that into your life and it become you. So we're out to find people who will say, hey, this is me. This is the life I want. I feel like many of you here that are coming to this church here, a perpetual life, are finding that this is something that you can really get engaged in with new thought, sharing with people who share these same thoughts. And it's probably, I hope, inspiring to you, it feels like. We've seen some of the YouTube messages you guys send out, and it's been beautiful to hear the new inspiration that's coming forth here all the time. This is powerful. This is what needs to be in this world. So our mission is to enable and continuously enhance an environment that supports radical life extension and physical mortality. Radical life extension field faces many challenges, okay? It faces public resistance. It faces always people trying to play up to the critics rather than going, you might say, with the positive aspects of radical life extension. Sometimes we play up to the critics too much, try to get them to understand. I don't think we're ever going to get the critics to understand. We have to go out and find people who understand this already. You might say the low-hanging fruit, and create this new environment I'm talking about. There's a problem of lack of funding. That's a big one. I want to create paradigms of movement that help push the initiatives in radical life extension, all the science. Bernie and I have, like I say, we're activists in the anti-death movement, but we embrace all the sciences, the psychology, the sociology, everything having to do with radical life extension that betters our life, that enhances our bodies. I'm so happy today, like I said, all the science is coming out now that is so powerful to enhance our lives. The slow progress that we deal with, the unsupportive FDA. So we begin to think, what can we do about that at People Unlimited? We think, how can we help? So we decided that we were going to create a coalition. So this is the next biggest thing that Bernie and I have done. We created a community of people that are supporting each other. We want to spread that community around the world. We need to all be working together who feel this great purpose and this great cause. We need to be together. We need to work together no matter what differences we have to create this new environment. So we created a coalition for radical life extension with a vision to bring about a sea change in how radical life extension is viewed and understood, and in order to generate greater support for a broad range of related initiatives, from scientific research to social and psychological breakthroughs to intellectual and artistic expression. This is huge for us. And so we started going around and we drew up a plan for this. It was called a coalition plan, in which any of you now can go on our coalition website. It's RLE, Radical Life Extension Coalition.com. That's RLE, coalition.com. And you can check out the website. And on that website, you'll find, this is the steering committee. This is the steering team for the coalition committee. A lot of top scientists, entrepreneurs, some I know you'll recognize, if not all of them. Great mind thinkers. There's Neil there. He looks good in that picture. So does Bill. Yeah, I was going to say, Bill, you look really good in that picture. And so we created this coalition team to steer. Now, this coalition, though, belongs to everybody. You can join this free. You can go on your phones right now, if you like, or as soon as this finishes, and dial and text coalition to 42828. That's coalition to 42828. Just, text it in, and you'll get a little form, and you sign up on that mailing list right now, or as soon as you can do it, and you'll be a member of this coalition, and you'll get a letter from us. You'll get an email back from us welcoming you to the coalition. Now, what's the importance of this again? Look, we've got to start doing something. All the talk is fantastic. Everything we're learning new is fantastic, but we need to join together. We need to support these initiatives to begin to push this envelope, to be able to get the support that's needed for radical life extension and each and every individual in this room. This is about your life. This is about you and I. And it's so important. I want to stress again the importance of getting over our differences with each other that might be there. Some of us want to maybe just live for 50 years more. Some of us might want to live for 100 years more. Some 200, some 500, some forever. Some may want to just be, some might want to be uploaded into their minds, uploaded into a robot. Okay, great. It doesn't matter. We should not be arguing over the semantics. We should be working together to create a new world. Our enemy is not one another on this planet. Our enemy is death. I'm going to say that again. Our enemy is not one another on this planet. Our enemy is one another. Our enemy is death itself, It's death. It's sickness, aging, and death. This is vital for us to get in our bodies. When we get this, we won't be fighting each other on this planet. We'll be fighting that which is really our enemy. We'll be fighting the important things. This whole movement for radical life extension is also the end of war because it gives us a greater purpose and cause. Human beings don't have a greater purpose and cause. It's innately in their bodies to fight each other. War is innately in the body, but we don't need to be warring with each other. We need to be warring against our true enemy. So this is why we created this coalition, to form this kind of bond between each other. People from, all these people in here, many of them think different. I've had many meetings with Max Moore, for example. He has a lot of different ideas. He's a philosopher of immortality himself. We share a lot of thoughts, but we've got a common bond. We love getting together and talking because we got a common bond, and that's that feeling of unlimited life that's in us. So we created the coalition, and now we thought, how are we going to start this coalition out with a bang? We need to get a critical mass of people. We need to get a lot of people together at one time, and kind of like and we call it like a Woodstock for immortality. A Woodstock for immortality. Something that's really festive. Not just a meeting that we're just on science, which is great, all the things. Not just a meeting on the sociology of immortality or just one thing, but a festive event. Something that people can say, wow, this is what I want to come to and that I can belong to, that I can join, that I can be a part of. An event where people can come and interact with a scientist, interact with everybody there, be able to speak themselves, not just hear me talking the whole time. You get up and say what you feel about any given subject. You be able to interact. We'll have subjects that will be deep, and you'll be able to take the mic too and say what you feel about it. This is the kind of event we're creating. And this event is going to be called the Rad Fest. If you know, it stands for Revolution Against Aging and Death. It's a revolution. Make no mistake. This is a revolution. This is a call for you to get in the trenches with us and have a lot of fun doing it. It's a lot of fun to be alive. I'm having fun. This is a time to really get your priorities straight, all of us. Anyone that means real business about living, we need to get our priorities straight and join together in this revolution against aging and death. This is what we're doing. You need to come out of the closet. A good example of coming out of the closet, totally, is the gay movement recently that finally united. And because they united, after many years, quit arguing over their differences, quit fighting, and begin to come together, they created initiatives and pushed initiatives through to where now many of the states are voting in gay marriage. You go to Ireland now, a whole country voted in gay marriage. Just a good example of what can be done when people come together with the same purpose and put aside their differences. So immortalists have been largely driven inward, sharing only their own company many times in their discussions or a few people. This helps explain why the culture at large is so ignorant and scared of the best thing that will ever happen to them, radical life extension. Because the people who knew better have been isolated and muted. We've been isolated and muted in our own little corners. I talked to an individual, many of you may know him, Dr. Bill Andrews, recently. Amazing scientist. Has a lab in Nevada that he's working on curing aging and has a real passion for it. 11 years old, he said, I'm going to cure aging. His dad encouraged him to do it. He said, that's what I'm going to do. So he's been working that. His motto is, cure aging or die trying. Well, he told me when he met us about, 8 months ago, I believe it was. I lose track of time sometimes. I get, everything's happening so exciting and so fast. But I think it was about 8 months ago. And he said, Jim, where have you guys been? He said he came to Scottsdale and came to one of our events after hearing about us. And he said, where have you guys been? I didn't know you were even around. I've been like wandering out here in the desert for 20 years, like doing this on my own mostly, interacting with some people, but never having any real support. He's a member now of People Unlimited and a member of the coalition. But he said, it's so great to find people that are cheering you on rather than going to some location and having everybody resist you and, argue with you about it. Sure, they can be good debate, but he said it's so great to find people that are supporting what I'm doing, and it's so encouraging. So this is what it's about too. Do you want to be in an environment that you're encouraged constantly to live better all the time, constantly get better? Or do you want to stay in an environment that is continuously, only just telling you have to die? This environment means a lot. It's important for us to have an environment that's really conducive to thriving. So let's stand together for an unlimited future. Another good example of people standing together and what they created in their initiatives by standing together. Join the coalition. Like I said, dial 42828. Text in the word coalition and text in 42828. It's that easy to join. So on top of this, I want to say that I've experienced a lot in my life. I've had times that I've really experienced some tremendous emotional things and even depression at one time in my life. And it's so great, though. I had people around me that encouraged me to keep moving, to stay alive, that I could outlive anything I was going through. And I did that. I had people telling me, look, Jim, even at moments I had a deep time of depression where I felt like there wasn't much worth living. And I was into immortality at that time. But it felt like, wow, nothing's worth living. When you have that type of depression, it's not worth living. But I had people around me that said, Jim, it's going to get better. Life is going to, you're going to get over this. Your life is worth living. It's really amazing to have people around you that encourage you to live and that you can outlive anything. This is the importance of environment. Too often, we have millions of people out there, millions of people that don't have that. They'll get sick or they get depressed or whatever the case may be. They don't have anyone around telling them that they can get over this. When I went to doctors, they just want to give me, sedatives or whatever to take care of it. Just made me feel worse. And they never told me I could get over it. They just hand me another pill. Deal with it, cope with it. But I had people around me that said, look, Jim, no matter what you're feeling right now and how depressed, don't stop on yourself. Don't quit. This kind of inspiration is crucial to staying alive long enough to live forever. It's vital. We need to recognize that to get out of survival, we have to start thinking different. We have to become the creators. We have to be people that begin to take charge of our lives in a new way, to change the death paradigms around us, to change the death programming, to not give in to the negativity that's all around us. Many times you get that from people in your family you care about will tell you that, I did when I went to them and told them that I was into physical mortality. They said, that's impossible. You can't really live forever. You can't go for unlimited life this way. And when I really tried to talk to them about it from my heart, some of them were closed down. Some of them weren't. But some of them were closed down. And so this is vital to be with people that encourage you to constantly live. It does something for your immune system. This has been scientifically proven that having inspiration around you and people who encourage you to live continuously will build your immune system. It's being more and more documented all the time. You can look it up. But everyone knows that to have some people around you that are encouraging you to live rather than to die is a huge thing. New science is coming now. We're becoming then the creators. When you begin to take charge of your life, you become the creator. You're not just living in survival anymore. You're not just feeling like your body is a bag of bones and that there's nothing. The body is miraculous. The body is amazing, but we've got to give it a chance. We've got to give ourselves an opportunity to really live. Everyone in this room here can see this new era. Eternity is already here. Everything that's happening in radical life extension is already begun to moving. Everyone in this room can benefit from this. Everyone in this room has a chance, a great chance to stay alive, to see eternity, or at least as long as you want to be alive. Some people, sometimes, I don't think there's anybody in the room that feels this way, but sometimes people will say, I don't want to live forever. I don't even want to, I'm looking forward to death. I feel a lot of empathy for those kind of people because they must not have a very good life. They must not have a good perspective on life because there's nothing greater, nothing better than being able to extend your life with vitality, health, joy, abundance. This is the kind of life we're talking about here, not some decrepit state of being, but a life filled with vigor, a life filled with excitement, and a life filled with joy and adventure, constant adventure. So This is the deepest message I want to say to you tonight, of how vital it is to begin to embrace being in charge of your life totally, being the architects of a new era that's happening. And plan for your eternity now. Begin to plan for your eternity now, because it's happening. When I was at Brink, many of those people there, those futurists, were saying, look, what we're talking about here is already happening. Things are already coming out. People just don't recognize it yet, or it hasn't completely manifested. But when you have in your heart, when you have in the depth of you, that you want to live forever, that you want to do something different than settle for the same old death-oriented paradigm that people have already settled for, that there's got to be something better. When you have that in your heart, you have set in motion a new intention, a very powerful intention that will take you to a place that you've never been before, an adventure that is so exciting, an adventure that's so filled with abundance and joy. I'm inviting you tonight to join us in this and to fill your lives with the joy of what really radical life extension and physical mortality is about. Not this foolishness you see sometimes from Hollywood and sometimes from critics that makes living forever look painful, or immortality only for vampires. It's ridiculous. The vampires are those who suck the life out of you on a daily basis. On a daily basis. Get involved with people who don't suck the life out of you. Get involved with people that inspire you to live. Get involved with people. Don't settle for anything less. That doesn't mean you turn from anybody else. It just means you're involved in you made a decision to live. You made a decision to live no matter what it looks like. You become unstoppable in this world. Thank you.
Hi. I'm really happy to be here with all of you. Oops, I'm all tangled up. I'm happy to be here. My first time to be with most of you, and I like it. Most of all, I like being alive. I experienced, when I was 22 years old, that I heard a man speak about the physical body and that it doesn't have to die. And when I heard that, it's like I said, yes, that's me. That's what I felt. And it's been with me ever since. I've been here for 78 years, and I'm not 78 years old. I've been here 78 years, and it's just a beginning. The years, it's like you have to not even identify with them as your age. I feel like I've just begun to live like I've never lived before. And I've experienced walking free of a lot of things, but I began to have to take charge in my life with who I am. And there's something about the physical body that I don't think we've discovered yet. There is an energy of the physical body that we have, sometimes we're just afraid to blow it out and be who we really are. And I think one of the greatest things we could do that's really unto our life is to be who we are and to go all the way, go for it, and not be afraid to be the vast person that you are. Many of us have not discovered that yet. There are a lot of discoveries to be made, but we're in the movement of it now. There's a great movement going on in this world. I feel it. It's so exciting for me to hear scientists now and many different individuals speak about the possibilities of living free of death. Because when I began, I didn't hear hardly anyone. I mean, there was no one even talking about extending their life. Life extension didn't exist. For me, I never heard it in the 1960s. And so, I'm excited. I feel excited. And I think that it's so important to come together with people that are excited to really stay around and to live free. Live free of all the burdens of life. And Jim and I often, because we work together for so many years, and people who don't know us, they wonder if we're intimately involved. We are not, but in relationship, we each have our partners. And About 18 years ago, I came together with, I've lived with different individuals. I never married. Marriage has never been something that I wanted to do. But I started living with Joe Bernadeane about 18 years ago. And he is 30 years younger than me. And we had a lot of different, he's 48 and I'm 78. So we had a lot of criticism about that, and he went through a lot with it. I went through a lot. But something has got to happen with men and women both, that we get past all the images and all the ways of that we should be and so forth. And he said the other day, he was telling the people in Scottsdale, he said, when I'm 1,000 and Bernie's 1,030, it's not going to make much difference, is it? So, look, I am not putting a stop on my life. I am not stopping. I have had to face all kinds of criticism and belief systems, and it's like we do affect a lot of belief systems, not wanting to, but that's what happens when you really, we're like over the edge, maybe. I don't know. But it feels really tremendous to know that we are in charge. We are in charge of our life. Who says I have to die? Who says? Who says I have to die? I'm not saying it, and I'm not going to say it. I feel better today. I feel the working of being physically immortal. I can feel it. It's in every cell of my body. I feel that there's an intelligence in every cell of our body. And really the mind, the whole body is one. There's a conflict that goes on, really, but I think that's going to, it is ending. It is ending for me. And I'm choosing to end the conflict. I'm choosing to end the strife in my own body. I'm choosing to bring an end to many things that I've outlived cancer. I've outlived depression that I thought I could never get out of. Depression was the worst thing I ever experienced many years ago. And because I had a feeling about that I was physically immortal already, I was able to get through those things, but I had people around me too. It's so vital that you draw people around you that want you to live as much as you want to. You need to be with people that want you to live as much as you want to live. I hope all of you here, you're looking at me kind of like, who is she anyway? And I understand, but I'm telling you what, I'm here to shake up the old lifestyle that we've lived. We need to end it. We need to end the old ways of life that have really been troublesome for us, So, but I'm finding that there is not anybody that can hinder me but me. You can't. No one can hinder you but you. No one can keep you from living but you. There's got to be, though, a really in-depth feeling in your body that this is what is really real. It's real to live. I don't think human beings should ever have died. I don't think they should be dying today. I don't think it's right for us. And we can come up with, there are many reasons why we do die. And this is why it's good to have community where you come together, you get in touch with all the reasons why we die and we don't live. So we're getting in touch with many things. It's exciting. It's exciting. I'm filled with really expectation. I'm expecting, wow, a lot to happen. And we really have a reason to stay around here, all of us. We have a reason to stay alive. And really everything, look, I feel like because I so hungered to live, that it has done something. I'm finding people who are really able to do things that are going to benefit me. I don't do them, but they do. And they're creating ways for the body to walk free of many things. And I'm going to go for it. I'm going for every bit of it. If there's a pill created that will end aging in the body, okay. I'm going to take it. I take a lot of pills now, and I do a lot of things now. I exercise. I have a personal trainer. I work out 2 times a week for an hour each time. Ride bikes. I'm hiking. I walk my dogs every day for over a mile, and I keep moving. The minute we stop, I'm never retiring. Don't retire. Don't want to sit down. Don't want to retire. Want to keep moving, creating. And so I'm never going to retire. I love to work. I love the work I do. And I love seeing people walk free. I love seeing people blossom. It's so fun to see people walk free of disease, dis-ease in the body. It's fabulous. So it's really important that we don't stop moving our bodies. Don't stop expanding your intellect. There's a lot to be, there's a lot to know, but knowledge doesn't keep us alive. And it takes, I think we really have to experience the blessedness of one another, how blessed it is. There needs to be, I feel more than ever now, a praise for one another, giving to one another, wow, ending the argumentative life, really coming together to experience something we've never experienced before. And because I have put myself, and I put myself here with you tonight, and because I know that you have something to give me that I don't have. Yeah, everybody's different. Everybody should be valued. Everyone needs to be valued. Every one of you here are somebody that no one else is. Nobody is like you, and we need to build each other in this way. I love it. I like the variety of humankind. I don't want everybody to be like me, and I don't want to be like anybody else. We need to value one another like we've never valued each other before. And because so often we find all the reasons not to be close, not to be with each other, and we're ending that. We are ending it. We're ending the separation. Separation is death. We're ending the separation. Any kind of separation, we have to end it so that there is no more death. So I'm really excited about being there with you tonight. It's an excitement. It's a feeling. I don't know you. You don't know me, and it really doesn't matter. There's a feeling we need to get in touch with each other that's more than knowing each other. We're never going to know each other enough for anything. I mean, for me, I don't care. I don't care to know you. I just want to be with you and enjoy who you are. And if that's annoying, fine. But I'm not interested in all the little details and all the things, you know, whether we like the same things. I don't think that's what's going to mean so much to us. It's not whether we do all the same things, because we don't. So the real reality is to be able to come together and not be doing the same things, not be, you know, so, well, yeah. I'm just looking at you, you know, because I'm used to being with people that they're real enthusiastic and they applaud you, and, you know, you can hardly get a word out of your mouth and they're like on their feet. And there's something about it. We're so stiff and starchy. Sometimes we squeak. We're so tight. We're so tight we can't move. We're like, you know, and I just like to blow the hell out of it. I just like to blow the hell out of all the tightness in the body. We need to open ourselves and begin to feel in a way we've never felt before. So I'm used to, like, you know, so here I am with all of you today. You don't know me and you're looking at me, and I understand that you're thinking many things, and is she really real? Does she really feel that way? And, you know. There's nothing better than being alive. There's nothing better. Death is horror. It shouldn't happen to anybody. It's not beautiful, it stinks. It's not natural. It's not natural to die. It's very unnatural to die. Doesn't feel good. It's ugly. I don't care how, you know, people say, oh, they look so beautiful in the casket. I'm going, well, you know, for me, it's not beautiful. So I'm on fire. I've got a fire in my gut. Have a fire in your gut. It'll take you somewhere. Yeah, have a fire in your gut. Be so fresh. Let a freshness happen. Feel the spirit of the body moving. Some people said, are you spiritual? Well, I don't know. I mean, I can feel what I would say is the spirit. I don't know. I think that without the body, there is no spirit manifestation. So, you know, for me, if the body's gone, there's nothing going on. When you're dead, you're dead. Yeah, it's important to stay alive. It's important to stay alive so that, you know, you can keep growing and changing, keep changing. Don't stay the same. I'm changing all the time. I'm going to keep changing and keep moving. I'm willing to give up the personality that I have already done it. I gave up my reputation a long time ago because I never knew who would feel me and who wouldn't. And many times people didn't feel me. And so, you know, I had to give up my reputation so I could live. Give up your reputation. Don't try to please everybody. You're never going to do it anyway. That's ridiculous. I know I'm not pleasing everybody in this room today. And so, you know, it's good to know that. It's good to know that you don't please everybody, but you'll please your own flesh when you keep moving in what you really feel. So, it's great to be with you. And I'm hoping that I'm going to have more with you that I've met here today. I'm hoping for that because we need one another. We really need each other. Nobody's doing this on their own. It's not possible to live on your own. So, you know, people want this certain kind of recognition. The best recognition you can get is to be so alive. You'll have everybody looking at you. Say, wow, that person's got something going. They're amazing. So, thank you. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, great, Bernie. Okay, so we'll take some questions, answers, or comments or anything. Yes.
Aside from being enthusiastic for life, what do you physically or chemically or otherwise do to, I got to say you look great, frankly, to extend your life?
Everything we can do. In other words, we do, like Bernie said, we'll take quite a few supplements, quite a great number of supplements. We'll do many other different body work treatments, everything from yoga, massage, everything. The biggest thing that we do is we've changed the program of death in our bodies, we feel. Then we move out of that to create everything we need to stay alive. Now, if there's anything, if you're asking, I'll do for myself personally, like I said, I take a lot of supplements, anything I can find that is, I'll say, cutting edge life extension supplements that I feel are safe for me to take. I'll take anything. I'm always researching those things, and I'm in contact with a lot of people that, you know, give me the information. That's one thing about having a community too, that you're always sharing information and the best information, what to take and what's going on. And also, some people will take things and don't get a good response from it. Others do, so you can share those responses too of what's going on. So we are embracing everything. We do. We both have radical life extension, or I'll say life extension naturopaths or doctors we work with to do things like IVs, different things like that. We do. So we're just if that's answering your question, totally, we're there to embrace, yeah, anything, I mean, if, for example, like Bernie said, if there was a pill today that would guarantee us being here another 1,000 years or 100 years, whatever it be, and we felt it wouldn't have any negative side effects, we'd take it. So we're out to embrace everything. I do think, though, again, a real key thing is getting it in your body that you're here to stay, and you're going to move to constantly create. Then you become the creator. You're constantly going to create something that's going to enhance you from there, rather than being a person that is moving to create something for your life because you're constantly in fear of dying, and you're constantly, which is a real thing, but that you're moving from, I'll say, a less of a whole place or less of a feeling of yourself. So you're trying to always chase immortality from that place. It's a powerful thing to get in touch with. You're here as the creator. There's no creator outside yourself. So when you're moving from that place, it creates a different dynamics in your body of life and an excitement for life. Does that answer that? Okay.
Jim, I know I've asked you, but I didn't ask you, Bernadette, that you've had the experience of trying that human cryotherapy. Maybe you want to elaborate on that. And Bernadette, have you tried that?
No, I have not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't. I'm familiar with all of it. Jim?
Yes, I did it. It was cold. But I enjoyed it. It's this particular one that I was in. It's like a large, tall box that you actually close in. Your head sticks above it. You need to put gloves on so your hands don't, really you keep your hands out a little bit, and then they take it down to temperatures that actually just about almost freeze your body for like really short time though. And then the idea, of course, it really gives a great strength to your immune system is the idea. So, yeah, I think it's great, huh? Yeah.
Do you believe in like plastic surgery, stuff like that?
Do I believe in it? I think that's an individual choice. I think for everything we're talking about here on this level is an individual choice. Some people feel like they need to have that or want to have that. And Bernie can answer that actually better.
Actually, I had, when I was 52, I had some plastic surgery. And look, here's what I think. I think it's for anybody who wants that. I think you should do anything that makes you feel better. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, if it makes you look younger, you're going to feel younger.
Well, I'm not so sure it makes people look younger. It might ease, it might some, but I've seen many who have had plastic surgery and they didn't look young. They still, you know why? They still carried the idea of old. We've got to give up old. They were still old. So it didn't really make that much difference. I think, though, that there are forms of plastic surgery for people who have conditions, some sort of conditions that are very, very good for them. I think, I don't recommend anything to anybody. I think every person's got to get in touch with that for themselves, really.
But a good point you make, and that what we talk about a lot is that age is a chemistry. It's not time that really ages us. It's the baggage we carry through time that ages us. The suppression, and so age is a chemistry. So you see some people that, like Bernie, and others that are certain later in their years that are very, very alive and ageless. You could say they're ageless, and if they get work done, then it enhances that. But you can't enhance somebody's face, I'll say, and take the agelessness off of it or the age off of it unless that chemistry changes. So there's a chemistry change in that too. But that's a good question.
Yeah. There's something about, I think when I experienced being physically mortal at 22, I never took on old. I never became old. I never had that. I don't have it in my body. I don't manifest that. I know I don't, because I know bodies who do. So it's like it's something that we can all walk free of. You can walk free of the old energy and the old chemistry, but we have to recognize it. We do have to recognize it, and we need. I think there's a lot of things to do in feeling your aliveness. Maybe in the way you dress. maybe you have to change. You know, maybe it could be many things. You know, I gave up motherhood. I have 2 children and 2 grandchildren. And my grandchild, my grandson is 20 years old, and my granddaughter is 29. And I love them, but I'm not mother. I am not mother to them. I give to them me, but I don't have a relationship with them that they treat me in the way, or I don't treat them. I have a respect for them as people. I think there are many things to let go of, many things that we're going to have to let go of in order to stay alive. You know, I tell my kids, don't look for an inheritance from me. I'm not dying and leaving one. You know, I tell them straight out because they need to know. I wanted them. I give to them now. They're privileged. I move with them now. And but I had to close the door. I closed the door to my dying. And them, you know, and them looking at me in that way. They love who I am. They love the way I am. They're with us. They totally feel physical immortality. They experience it. So, you know, it's whatever we're going to give to us, what we're going to get. I'm getting everything I want. Get everything you want. I'm going for it. I feel like it's for me. It's for you to have the life you want. It takes death out of the picture. It takes you wanting to die out of the picture. We're not worried. I'm not worrying over my children. Look, I gave them an opportunity to be here in this. They had a great opportunity with me to experience a life that's unending. So, you know.
So what that does, so what that does is take a lot of stress out of your life. Trying to be play a certain role as a grandmother or parent, you can still love your kids without playing that role and all the stress that's involved in it. It's a great thing. We got to take the stress out of our lives too. Now, some people say to Bernie, I said, well, you guys, you know, you're trying to dress young to be young. We don't do that at all. We just dress how we feel. We dress how we feel. I've always done that from an early age. I just dress how I feel. I'm not going to put on, a certain type of dress just to fit what would be called my age or a role. And I think that's important for everybody. No one has to be in any certain way like that. But don't dress because your peers dress that way. You can go some places, you know, in some places, and everybody dresses the same way, you know, by that age bracket. You can tell by the type of clothes. So it's getting in touch with your own aliveness. How do you feel in your body? How do you want to look? How do you want to be? What do you want to have in your life? What do you want to manifest for yourself? Who are you? Why were you born? Okay.
You said before, you mentioned that if there were a pill available that would make you live forever or for 1,000 years more, that you would take it. What efforts does your organization make into supporting, funding, anything of that, like research and development to create the technology that would allow that to occur?
Yeah, thank you. That's a really good question. Well, we've given money to some scientists. We have a charity. We formed. That's the main reason we formed the coalition. It's a nonprofit organization. Okay, I am personally putting about 75% of my time to that right now, and investing money to create the coalition to support, to get better funding for a lot of the scientists that are out there doing great cutting edge work, and as you know, not getting good funding for it. And so I think personally that this is a grassroots movement. I think it's one of the best ways that we can get that funding. We can't just depend upon certain people with certain monies sometimes to just fund these things that we expect sometimes to happen. I think this is a grassroots movement. My experience is you get enough people excited, and we rightfully so should be excited, but get thousands and thousands of people excited about what we're doing here. And my experience is when people really get excited about this, they invest their whole lives into it. Their money in everything. I'm totally invested in radical life extension. I'm totally invested in physical mortality. All my money goes into it, all my energy, and because what else is more meaningful than that? You're going to make a lot of money and then die, and you can't take your money with you. You know, what's the purpose? What's the purpose of creating a life that you can't really enjoy, that makes you sick sometimes? You work so hard, and because we're programmed that way. We work so hard and we kill ourselves. You see all these people, and we know we have this silver tsunami going on now of people living longer but not living well, not living in a healthy state because they've given their lives to destroying themselves fundamentally to feed the old paradigm that you are born, you're supposed to work hard all your life, and then collect a few things and then die. That's not something exciting to me. So we have to rethink this whole paradigm. What do we want to do to change this? And so that is what we're involved in, is creating this coalition that we're really dedicated to do now, and having this Rad Fest, which will create a critical mass of people that will begin to, people then can say, well, this is something I can get involved in, something I can join, something I can get engaged in and put myself into. There's nothing else bigger happening on this planet. There's nothing ever as big as this has ever happened. Radical life extension, immortality is the biggest thing that's ever happened for humankind. It is the root cause of all sickness, aging, death, and war on this planet. That's my personal feelings. Yes.
Just two questions.
You can let us know whenever.
Bernadette, you said you battled cancer. I'm just curious, did you get into chemo and radiation? And the other question is, I heard that lobsters and some other animals actually don't age. Are you studying that?
Yeah, that's real. Yeah, yes. My surgeon, my first surgeon, told me that I would have to do 12 weeks of chemo, and then she wasn't sure that she could even do surgery. I had breast cancer, and so this is recent. This has been just this year. So anyway, I began, Jim said, and others around me said, you need to look into other sources. And I was so ignorant about some of this stuff because, first of all, me getting cancer, how could that be? That was it was such a shock to my system. Honestly, I went through so much fear and wonderment about why I'm physically immortal and so forth. But in Scottsdale, I had many, many people around me who wanted me alive, and we searched out. I found a doctor who is a naturopathic doctor, and she's a cancer doctor, and natural. She does the IVs. It's amazing work she does. She's one of the best known individuals right now, having the most success, really, and right out there where we live. So it's a wonderful thing for me. But anyway, she told me of another surgeon to go to, and I went to the surgeon, and she says, I can take care of this. She did the surgery on me, but I continued for 12 weeks, and I'm still doing chemo, not chemo, but IVs, I did the 12-week thing for 3 times a week for 12 weeks of IVs, and they're very potent. They're cancer fighting. They have a lot of vitamin C, and many. It's a combination of things, and but I feel so good, and I am so thankful that there's going to be more and more ways to walk free of sickness, disease, aging, all of these things. It's happening. Right now. I feel it's on a roll, and it's like we're going to find many ways to take care of whatever is necessary, because we've all come from. First of all, we were birthed by people who had no intention to live. I think most of us, probably all of us in here were. And it's in the body. Death is in the body. There's the intelligence in the body. We have to absolutely walk free of the intelligence of death in our bodies, and it's a big deal. And it takes a lot. It takes a lot of focus. It takes a lot of belief in the body that we're capable of doing that which is impossible. I really do experience that. And I experienced that with the cancer issue. Today, I have no fear of cancer. I walk free of the fear. I lived for a month and a half after I heard the cancer thing, and I was in such fear. I'd wake up in the nights, and I thought, how can I be going through and experiencing all this stuff? But today, it's like I have no fear of it. It's like I begin to accept me with cancer. I said, cancer's here, it's me. It's me. It's not something outside of me, it is me. And there's something about that does, it does something. And when it's like, wow, okay, this is me, you know? And I will continue to do whatever I need to do. I'm still doing some IVs. My doctor said, both doctors, the naturopath and the medical surgeon, she said, it's done. They said it's done. But it had to be done in me before I even heard it. I had to really experience it. I'm not dying. I'm not dying no matter what's going on. If I'm going to live with cancer, I'll live with it. There's something about it. There's something about us, you know, really, really feeling the power of the flesh, power of the person. Wow. I know it's unheard of, a lot of it, but honestly, it's for us to feel this way.
So her immune system now is actually stronger than ever. And these are choices every individual has to make, but we opened up many opportunities for Bernie to look at, and so she chose this route. Now her immune system is so strong, and rather than taking the chemo that she could have taken that would have knocked her completely down, she chose this route, and and she's getting tested and everything, and getting staying on top of things. But I've never seen her. She's so strong now, and all of her tests show her immune system's so strong, and we're making such great progress.
Yeah, that's right. And the thing is I feel like all this time that I've given to being physically immortal actually works. I do believe it. I had a feeling and a strength that maybe I would not have had otherwise, had I never experienced the vastness of the physical body. It's precious. Don't give it up. You're precious. Don't give you up. Really, you're precious. Keep going. You're going to find ways to stay here. We're going to find it together. It's in togetherness. There's a power of togetherness. There's a flow. There's an energy flow that is amazing. And so
keep meeting here. Keep meeting here, and keep coming together, and keep telling your friends, telling people around you. Build what you've got here. This is such a great thing that Neil and Bill started here. Give an opportunity for people to come together. Bill is fantastic. Thank you so much. I mean, yeah, Bill's one of the greatest giving people in the radical life extension arena that we've met. He's so generous in his movement and his passion for radical life extension. So tell your friends here. Keep building this community. And we'll share with you in Scottsdale everything we've got, and maybe we'll even have an event together sometime. Join forces and whatever we'll do, just to keep building each other. Tell your friends, tell everybody around you. People need to hear this message. That's part of what I said in my little slideshow here: is come out of the closet. Look, it doesn't matter if people think you're crazy or not. It doesn't matter if you die what they put on your tombstone. What matters now is you being alive totally and being bold in who you are. Look, we've been expressing immortality and radical life extension for 45 years, and we've been called everything. It didn't matter. It didn't matter what people really said. We have to get out of public opinion. We have to totally dismiss it and not let it drive us, not let us dictate who we are. We can't let the terrorists in this world dictate who we are. We got to take the steps to keep moving and be the unstoppable force that I feel we are in this world. That's exciting. Yeah, it's going to happen anyway.
People are going to live. Yeah. There's going to be people that are going to live, and they're not going to die. We're attacking this thing. We're attacking it. There's an attack going on here, and we don't have to do any fighting. It's a flow together, and it's huge, and it's vast. That's why I'm excited. I'm so excited.
Back there? We'll do one more. Okay, one more. We're all getting hungry, probably.
Are you afraid of dying, or are you afraid of not living? And is there a difference?
That's a good one. Okay, sure. I think it's real to say that no one that you can be afraid of death. I think that's a real emotion in our bodies. I think you walk to the edge of a cliff, you don't jump because you don't want to die. That's real. So yes, I can feel that fear. But But I think there's more fear in people about really living than there is dying. There's more fear for people to take the steps to live. And that's really what we're confronting in this world, the fear of living that people have, the fear of ending the suppression in their bodies, to really come out and take the lid off. Be excited about who you are and be able to give that message to the world, to stand out, to be totally alive. See, here we're talking about aliveness here in this room, and I go around the world talking about, but some people, it's hard for them to really take aliveness. They want us to tone it down. They'll say, well, if you tone that down a little bit, not be so excited about it, then maybe we can understand. Well, then we wouldn't be who we are. Be who you are. Look, we're meant to be totally out there, alive people, and spreading the news about what we are.
Yeah, when we made this flight here, I have never ever seen so many wheelchairs. There were 9 wheelchairs on our flight. I was like in shock. I've traveled all over the world, and I've never seen. And what's real, people are living longer, but it's not a good way to live longer. I don't want it. I don't want that kind of long life but it's just obesity reigns supreme. And there I saw so much why, so many things, but it's like, really, we're here to I'm not going that way. I'll tell you that right now. You can say, how can you say that? Well, it's just because I'm choosing not to go. I am definitely choosing, and I'm making a difference in my body now. I'm moving in ways that, we keep moving, and I'm open to everything that is coming forth, and I'm telling you, there's a role. There's a role right now. I feel more excitement about being free of death than I ever have. I feel the reality of it more than ever. In the midst of everything that's going on in this world, all the destruction and everything, there is a people now that are standing strong. We're standing strong, and we're happening. We're happening. It's pretty wonderful. Yeah.
Well, thank you all.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jim Strole and Bernadeane from People Unlimited. Now, I'd like to make a recognition of a couple of people who have come a long way. Two ladies, Izza and Lynn, would you stand for a moment? They flew out here from Arizona just to be here tonight. And there's several of you who have driven 2 and more hours to be here. I know you've got another drive back for a couple of hours, so I appreciate you all coming out tonight. I'd like to bring up for just a few minutes one of the founders of the Church of Perpetual Life. Let's give a hand to Mr. Bill Falloon.
What I'm going to do is provide just a brief scientific update on a project we announced at this church at the end of March. This project involves taking young individuals, mobilizing their bone marrow using an FDA-approved drug. It was approved back in 1991 primarily for cancer patients, but if you give it to young, healthy people, it mobilizes their stem cells. And in the process of doing that, all types of pro-youth factors are spewed into the bloodstreams of these younger individuals. This research project aims to capture those pro-youth factors in the younger people's bloodstreams through a process known as apheresis and bring their stem cells out. It takes about 5 or 6 hours for the young donor to have this process done. But then we're going to separate the stem cells from the pro-youth plasma components and then inject those into elderly individuals with the objective of inducing meaningful and systemic reversal of pathological aging. I was privileged to be a presenter at the Brink Institute conference held in the Southern California area, in the Palm Springs area, on June the 5th. And I had never been to such a high caliber conference of CEOs, Silicon Valley individuals, enlightened scientists. This group of people, they were immortalists, whether they knew it or not. None of them wanted to die. Some of them were, I think, taught immortality at this Brink Institute conference, and it was not a medical conference or a cryonics conference. It was mainly a conference to bring together the best and brightest CEOs, primarily from Silicon Valley and other areas, to get together and talk about their health, talk about their wealth, talk about what they could do to improve the world. And I was able to give this presentation, and afterwards, one of the biggest surprises in my life occurred. And this occurred over the next 2 days, by the way. Individual scientists approached me, and they said, you know what, you're on the right track there. I said, well, thank you. I'm glad you appreciate our theories here about how to potentially reverse aging. And the reason they knew we were on the right track is they were doing the same thing. They were paralleling our research in different ways, not exactly how we're doing it, but in different ways. 3 individuals, prestigious individuals, impressive individuals, doing what we're doing here in Florida, independent of us. So if you wonder sometimes if an unusual way to accomplish an objective is reasonable, if it's practical, I guess the best thing to do is announce it everywhere you go, talk about it. And you might have some individuals come up and saying, you know what, I'm doing the same thing. And on a preliminary basis, because I can't say this has been validated yet, some of them are doing it with older people. They're reporting some very impressive results. So I think we're on the right track, and we're going to continue to pursue this age reversal research in South Florida and attempt to take 30 to 50 elderly people and reverse their aging process using these stem cell mobilized components from very young individuals and infusing them into the older people about once a month and see what type of rejuvenation effect occurs. So that's my scientific update for this month's service, and I can tell you it was impressive for me to be out amongst that large group of people in Palm Springs, California, and have the 3-day event dedicated to learning more about how to live longer and how to live better.
Amazing stuff going on, ladies and gentlemen. So stay with us, and it's going to be an amazing ride. We now have a film that we'd like to screen here this evening. I was out in Laughlin, Nevada, attending the Ventures Conference, and met with the gentleman, John, who did this film, John Harden. And we have a film called New, and it's about 2 people who are cryosuspended. And in the distant future, they come out of cryostasis, out of freezing, and begin their life anew. There's another film coming out called The Last Generation to Die by Tim Uppen, and we're hoping to be able to screen that sometime later this year. I truly enjoyed Jim and Bernie's talk and Bill's presentation this evening, update, and I hope you enjoyed the film. Downstairs we have some dinner and refreshments. I hope you'll join us, and you can also speak with us directly, and I think Jim and Bernie are going to stick around a little while to talk with you as well. So thank you for coming, and those of you online who joined us, there's no presentation next month. We'll see you again in August, and we'll see you downstairs. Thank you.